Welcome to my world, bitch.
Welcome to this bonus episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast.
So literally paranormal.
My name is Jason Knight, host of the show, and with me, as always, is
Oscar Spector,
producer extraordinaire and podcast co-host. Well, Oscar, we had to jump on the mics because there's some hot news in the world of the Long Island serial killer. We have an update, a very important update.
Okay.
This is one of those timely episodes where it's being talked about right now.
Okay.
I mean, if you're not hearing it out there, you probably live under a rock.
So you brought me here under false pretenses. That's not what you told me to come over here. You said you want me to jump on the bike so you can finally confess your deepest, darkest sins. This is...
Nope.
You just told me a lie.
I did.
You just got me into this room. I didn't want to talk about this guy anymore.
I tricked you. I know, I don't want to talk about him anymore either, but...
Right, but you tricked me, and now we have to talk about this guy again?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, so really, listeners should go back. We've covered him 4 times already. I had to go back and get the episode numbers, because if you've been living under a rock and you don't know about the Long Island serial killer, or Rex Heuermann, or the Gilgo 4... definitely go back and check out our episodes 152, 153, 154, and 164 to get all caught up on the Long Island serial killer, all the victims, the possible victims, all the suspects, about Rex Heuermann, and all the crazy theories and conspiracy theories.
The only positive thing about this guy, which I never want to hear coming out of this show ever again, Jay, after today,
Yes.
is that he has given us a lot of material.
Tons of material.
So we can take it easy sometimes. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, you can. I mean, you're doing the research, obviously not so much you, but it's an easy go-to.
Well, it's kind of
We
funny.
have to worry or rack our brains to what the hell are we going to do next time.
Right. Because Rex is always up to some shit.
Right.
Now, I think, to your point, where you say, hopefully we're not going to talk about this guy for a very long time, you said, I think that's going to be true, based on these latest developments. I don't think we're going to get any of those real juicy, the details that everyone's looking for. I don't think we're going to see those for a very, very long time.
Okay.
And that kind of pisses me off.
Okay.
Because I'm bought into this story.
Yeah, well, at this point, we have to.
A lot of people are bought into this story, right?
Right.
All right. So, the ogre in the gray suit with an honest-to-God Mo Howard haircut. Listeners, kids, look up Mo Howard. Three Stooges. That's what this guy is sporting on top of his big dome. So the ogre in the Mo Howard haircut stood so still, he might have been part of the courtroom itself. An old piece of furniture, maybe. For nearly 3 years, Rex Heuermann said nothing. But on April 8th, 2006, so just a few weeks ago, he walked into a packed Suffolk County courtroom and began to unspool a decade of secrets in less time than it takes to cook a Monday night meal. He didn't weep. He didn't rage. He didn't look menacingly at all the families' lives that he shattered. He simply answered the judge in a flat, almost bored voice. Yes, Your Honor. Yes. Strangulation. As if he were confirming some mundane checklist, like a grocery list. Outside, families of the dead held hands. Inside, a monster clocked out. Do you feel it's in your best interest to plead guilty rather than go to trial? Asked Judge Timothy Matze. Yes, Your Honor. Do you feel it's in your best interest to plead guilty? A curt nod. No hesitation. Yes, I do. The judge asked if Rex Heuermann understood he was giving up his right to appeal, his right to a trial. Yes, Your Honor. Then came the names. Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney, a fantastic prosecutor who launched a dedicated multi-agency task force that identified and arrested Rex Heuermann in July 2023, Tierney stood and began to read the names of the dead aloud. Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello. One by one, he asked Heuermann how he killed them. You killed each victim in the same manner, namely strangulation? Yes. Melissa? Strangulation. Megan? Strangulation. Amber? Strangulation. No elaboration, no apology, no hint of remorse. Just that same clinical word over and over, ticking off that list. Strangulation. Ray Tierney pressed further. Did you bind them in burlap? Did you dismember some of them? Yes. Yes. Heuermann never raised his voice. He never broke eye contact with the judge. When the prosecutor asked about Karen Vergata, a 34-year-old mother of two who vanished on Valentine's Day 1996, a death Heuermann had never been charged with, he gave another flat, emotionless reply. I intentionally caused the death of Karen Vergata and left her remains. 20 minutes after it began, the hearing ended. The man who had lived two lives, suburban architect by day, deranged serial predator by night, was led away in shackles. The overflow rooms emptied into the hallways. Heard among the murmurs of conversation was, he admitted it, almost in disbelief at what they just heard. Outside, victims' relatives gathered on the courtroom steps. Melissa Cann, sister to Maureen Brainerd Barnes, spoke for many when she said, quote, "This has been a long journey of hope," she said. Now, Heuermann's ex-wife, Asa Ellerup, who sat in the last row of the courtroom with their daughter, Victoria, did not immediately speak to reporters, but later released a statement asking for privacy and saying her thoughts and prayers were with the families. So Rex Heuermann, the ogre, who we could now confidently call the Long Island serial killer, pled guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder and 4 counts of intentional murder, or second-degree murder under New York law. The difference mattered. First degree meant he had committed another felony during the killing, like kidnapping or sexual abuse. Those 3 victims, Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, earned him mandatory life without parole. The other 4, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Jessica Taylor, Sandra Castilla, and Valerie Mack, carried 15 years to life, but the judge tacked on an extra 100 years just to be sure. Then there was Karen Vergata, the 8th woman. Heuermann confessed to her murder in open court, even though no one had charged him with it. It was, the district attorney later said, a kind of a house cleaning, a way to close the doors of the books on Karen Vergata, a ghost who had haunted the Long Island serial killer case for 3 decades. Now, as part of the deal, Heuermann agreed to sit down with the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit, the same squad that once interviewed Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, Richard Speck.
And they were on the cast of The Mindhunter.
Mindhunter, yeah, exactly. Those are the people that he'll be sitting down with, is going to be forced to sit down with. It's kind of an academic exercise, Ray Tierney said. They want to understand what created him, what drove him, what causes this. Now today, Heuermann sits in a segregated cell at Suffolk County Correctional Facility. He chose to be there. Voluntary segregation, they call it. He doesn't mingle with the general population. Not because he fears them, though some inmates have wanted to kill him or hurt him, but because he seems to prefer his own company. Sheriff Errol Toulon, who oversees operations and inmate custody within the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department, and who's overseen high-profile inmates like John Gotti, the Teflon Don, he says Heuermann shows none of the despair typical of other notorious prisoners. No remorse, no visible distress. Instead, he carries himself with what Toulon calls a bit of smugness. He says Rex is emotionless, unfazed by the situation he's in. And he says Rex sizes people up. He studies their gait, their tone, how they speak to him, and then he offers short, clipped answers in return. and he does not hold lengthy conversations with guards. You're not getting a lot out of this guy. Now, once a week, a cleric, either a Catholic priest or a nun, visits Heuermann in his cell. He never claimed to be Catholic, but that's who he chooses to speak with, Catholic priests and nuns. These religious visits happen in private, and absolutely no one knows what they discuss. Now, interestingly, before his arrest, Heuermann did architectural work for Catholic charities, and the irony is not lost on investigators. To keep busy, Rex reads. Recently, he checked out 2 books from the Correctional Center's library, West Wind, a high-stakes Cold War-era thriller, and Devil's Banker, a high-stakes financial thriller. He also visits the law library regularly. By court order, he has a laptop to review the mountains of discovery documents in his case, and his only exercise is walking laps in a small yard. Toulon said he's 100% compliant, and the sheriff believes the reason is simple. Heuermann is surrounded by men. He does not challenge men. He's not a fighter. Now, since his incarceration, Heuermann has received roughly 150 visits from his ex-wife, Asa Ellerup, who visits about once a week, or at least she did, from friends, from mental health professionals, and from his attorneys. Now, one visitor tried to see Heuermann but was turned away, and that visitor was Christopher Loeb. Now, Christopher Loeb is not a name most people remember, although we did make it a point to talk about him, in our previous Long Island serial killer episodes. In the twisted history of the Long Island serial killer case, Christopher Loeb plays this strange kind of supporting role. Back in 2012, Loeb, a convicted felon, broke into an unmarked Suffolk County police vehicle. Do you remember this?
No, not offhand.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna need more.
So he broke into this unmarked Suffolk County police car. It was a truck.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Right? And inside, he stole this duffel bag.
Duffel bag, yeah, the bag.
Belonging to then police chief James Burke.
Yeah, that fucking guy. What a piece of shit. That one with the hookers and shit.
Yes.
Sex workers.
Just the dirt bag. Now, that bag that Loeb stole contained Burke's gun belt, ammunition, a cigar box, sex toys, adult films.
Yes.
And what Loeb described as a possible snuff film. Remember?
Yes, it's coming back.
Now, that fear that obviously enraged this psychopath James Burke, who later beat Loeb, beat the shit out of him while he was helplessly handcuffed to the floor.
Yeah.
Remember? And he pressured his officers under him to lie about the whole thing. And that scandal unraveled Burke's career, and he actually served jail time for those civil rights violations. The thing is, Loeb had long insisted that Burke was involved in something much, much darker. Not just kinky sex and porn, but Loeb publicly claimed that James Burke himself was connected to the Gilgo Beach murders. Either he was the Long Island serial killer, or he helped support him in some way. And Loeb says, I didn't break into Rex's truck. I broke into Burke's truck. And Loeb noted that the murders miraculously stopped after his burglary of James Burke's truck.
Right.
So when Loeb tried to visit or contact Heuermann at Suffolk County Jail, Sheriff Toulon confirmed that the request was made, but it was rejected by Heuermann himself. No one knows what Loeb, wanted to speak to him about, what he was going to bring up. But Christopher Loeb's attempt to insert himself into the story decades after his burglary of Chief Burke's truck is just a reminder that this case has always had these strange currents running beneath it. Now, Burke was never named a suspect in the murders, of course, and from what I could tell, Christopher Loeb himself is currently incarcerated on charges related to a January 2024 violent assault on an 89-year-old woman. And Rex Heuermann, as always, says nothing.
It's like everyone in this fucking story, other than the victims, are bad guys, just different levels of bad guys, different degrees of bad guys. Like this one's obviously the nicest of all the bad guys, the 89-year-old beater-upper.
Which says a lot.
Not good. And that says a lot, right? That's my point. Like, yeah, he's way better than the cop, way better than Heuermann, of course. But, like, still a piece of shit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, none of these people are really good.
Yeah.
Now, for all the bizarre tangents and shadowy figures that have circled this case over the decades, the story has never been about them. It's always been about the women, the ones Heuermann admitted to killing. Their names, their lives, and the horror of how they died. That's what really matters. Heuermann's pleas brought the total number of victim confirmed to 8, though authorities have not ruled out that there may be more. As a reminder, the women he killed, when he admitted in open court to killing, were Sandra Castilla, age 28, found in North Sea, Long Island, with DNA matching Rex Heuermann. There was Karen Vergata, 34, a mother of 2, whose 1996 murder Rex admitted to on his own in court. There was Valerie Mack, age 24, Jessica Taylor, age 20, both dismembered and scattered between Manorville and Gilgo Beach. There was Maureen Brainerd Barnes, 25, bound with leather belts. Remember that? With the WH or the HM on the belts. Yep.
In relation to his house, too, remember? Yeah.
Right, that they thought might have been his grandfather's initials.
Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm.
And that belt also held his wife's DNA, if you remember.
Yep.
There was Melissa Bartholomew that he admitted to, age 24, whose teenage sister received those horrible racist calls from the killer, from her sister's own phone after she disappeared.
I remember that.
There was Megan Waterman, age 22, who we now know had that... new revelation. Megan Waterman, 22, who we now know had a very specific Bounty paper towel stuffed in her mouth when she was found that matched a square of Bounty paper towel found in one of Rex Heuermann's desks. Again, this is brand new information. And that was a specific, unique type of Bounty paper towel that was only sold in certain stores, believe it or not.
Really?
So they're linking him to Waterman because of this this Bounty paper towel. Yeah, crazy.
Kudos on the research team on the cop side for that one.
And then, of course, he admitted to killing Amberlynn Costello from West Babylon, New York, age 27, last seen meeting a stranger in a Chevy Avalanche, a description that led police straight to Rex Heuermann. Heuermann killed all these women between 1993 and 2010. He strangled each one, and some, he admitted, he dismembered. But here's where the story, once again, twists. Heuermann's confession closed 8 cases, but it didn't close Gilgo Beach. Remember, along that same stretch of Ocean Parkway,
right?
I believe there are 5 more victims that are still lying in evidence lockers and cold case files. They don't have names, and no one has claimed them. There are 4 Jane Does. One is Asian, between 18 and 35 years old, who died between 2000 and 2005. There's another Jane Doe, same age range, and same window of death as the previous one, the Asian. A third Jane Doe was discovered in Nassau County in 1993, stuffed in a plastic container. And then there's the Fire Island Jane Doe, found in 1996. There's the other, what we call the outlier. Remember the Asian male who was found dressed in women's clothing near Gilgo Beach, near the other victims. So that, by count, makes 5 left to still identify. And if you remember from our previous episodes, there was yet again another story running parallel to the Long Island serial killer case, one that wound up having nothing to do with Rex at the end of the day, but it was just as kind of gripping. For years, the case of Peaches and her toddler daughter haunted investigators. Remember Peaches?
Mm-hmm. I do.
In June 1997, the dismembered torso of a young woman, later nicknamed Peaches for a distinctive heart-shaped peach tattoo found on her body, was found inside a plastic container in a wooded area of Hempstead State Park in West Hempstead, New York. More than a decade later, during the height of the search for the Gilgo Beach victims, additional remains of Peaches and the skeletal remains of her young daughter were found along Ocean Parkway, not far from the other victims. Now, the child, initially known as Baby Doe, had been wrapped in a blanket and was wearing gold jewelry when she was found, and she was linked to Peaches through DNA. For nearly 3 decades, the identities of mother and daughter remained a mystery, thought to be victims of the Long Island serial killer. But in a major breakthrough in 2025, advances in forensic genealogy allowed investigators to finally put names to these bodies. Peaches, the mother, was identified as Tanya Denise Jackson, a 26-year-old U.S. Army veteran and single mother originally from Alabama. Her daughter was identified as Tatiana Marie Dykes, just 2 years old when she was killed. For years, investigators linked Tanya Jackson and her daughter Tatiana to the Gilgo Beach killings. But as evidence mounted, that theory crumbled. In December of 2025, Florida resident Andrew Dykes, age 66, Tatiana's father, was arrested and charged with Tanya's murder, with Peach's murder. He's not been charged with the killing of his 2-year-old daughter. Nassau County DA Ann Donnelly says prosecutors lack sufficient evidence to connect him on that count right now. Now, Dykes was married to another woman when he met Tanya, Peaches. The two had an affair, and Tatiana was their love child. Prosecutors allege Dykes killed Tanya to end that affair and save his marriage. And it's likely he killed his daughter for that same reason. Though again, it hasn't been proven yet, but where there's smoke, there's fire, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Tanya and Tatiana's case is basically solved for the most part. Heuermann's plea has cracked open a much wider hunt, opening this Pandora's box of cold cases across the country. Law enforcement agencies from New Jersey to Nevada are reviewing unsolved murders for potential links to Heuermann, whose property holdings and travel records have placed him in a number of states. D.A. Tierney has made it clear that his office has not stopped, and he stated, quote, "We're not going to stop. We can't stop. We owe that to the victims. That's the least we could do," end quote.
I want to say, based on his testimony in court and the way he said it, and the way that offhand that one person said about Rex Heuermann, that not being surrounded by any women at all, kind of like took his power away, so to speak.
In prison?
Yeah.
Oh, I think so, definitely.
In a sense that like he is much more maybe submissive to all these like authorities. They're all manly authorities.
It looks that way.
It's very strange, which makes me feel like he definitely did that Asian guy. But we talked about that then too, and they called him an Asian twink, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Anyway, is that based on that? It feels like is it difficult to try to get him to admit to the rest if there are more?
We don't know. I don't know.
Seems like it would be easy. I mean, he's there for life. Even if they invent immortality, they tacked on an additional 100 years to that. So
he's got over 300 years total.
Right.
I think a lot of it, and I'll talk about this more at the end. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of it has to do with him wanting to protect his family, his wife and stepson and his daughter.
As to who he might have colluded with or know about?
It could be that.
Like this person that killed Peaches. I already forgot her name. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
This guy who just like did a quote-unquote regular murder, like killed like his affair. One person, right? World War II probably with his kid.
Yeah, definitely.
Does he like know someone, even maybe Rex, or knew someone else that took bodies to that beach, to that area, to that coastline, to bury his own body after knowing how great of a spot it is, so to speak?
It's certainly possible. We've always kind of thrown it around ourselves that he had accomplices. He worked with people.
I mean, from 93 to 2025, that's when we found out her name. That's getting away with murder for a long time.
You mean Peaches' name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think... it's how good is this FBI behavioral analysis unit going to be with extracting information? How much does he want to save his family from? If there are other people involved, how much he wants to save those people? There's so many factors. Or he just might want to be...
Do you think he cares about his family?
Yeah, I do. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you why at the end.
Only because of how remorseless he is. But I've seen people legit justify a lot of things. Even if they care about, and I see them care about other things too, in very weird ways. So, like, I get it. So.
Yeah. I have some kind of late-breaking news that I couldn't work into here because I literally watched this documentary last night. So.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that. I'll definitely talk about that.
Okay.
So on Long Island, that investigation into the remaining unidentified victims, it continues. Police have confirmed that Heuermann's DNA has been entered into a statewide database to see if it matches any other unsolved crimes. Authorities are also re-examining the other victims found on Gilgo Beach, like I mentioned, whose deaths have yet to be solved. Investigators in New Jersey began re-examining the 2006 murders of 4 sex workers in Atlantic City by a killer dubbed the Eastbound Strangler. Remember these guys? Mm-hmm. These victims? The victims, Kim Raffo, age 35, Tracy Ann Roberts, age 23, Barbara Briador, age 42, and Molly Diltz, age 20. They were all found lying face down with their heads pointed east towards the city's casino high-rises, towards the downtown area. The women were all working as sex workers, and they all suffered severe addictions. And they were all strangled, and the bodies were all discovered in a ditch, kind of in a row, behind these shitty-ass motels.
Yeah,
so striking.
I do remember this.
Yeah, so striking to Gilgo Beach. Former Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison initially told WABC that authorities were weighing an investigation into Heuermann's possible connection to that eastbound strangler case. However, in a later statement to the New York Post, Harrison ruled out a link, stating, quote, "We don't believe that the sex workers killed in Atlantic City are connected to Rex Heuermann," end quote. But despite this, the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office say it's continuing to investigate those 2006 eastbound strangler homicides to see if they cooperate with Rex Heuermann. So we'll see. It's possible. Then we have Las Vegas. Heuermann's ties to Las Vegas has also drawn significant scrutiny. Public records showed he owned a timeshare on Tropicana Avenue in Las Vegas, purchased in April 2005, and he sold another Vegas property in 2012. He was known to spend time in Nevada, including at a convention in 2017. And following his arrest, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department confirmed they were reviewing their unsolved cases to see if Rex has any involvement. One case in particular has captured the attention of investigators. In 2007, 19-year-old sex worker Jody Marie Brewer went missing from the Harbor Island Club apartments, located just over 4 miles from Heuermann's Las Vegas condominium. Her torso was discovered wrapped in plastic and cloth 2 weeks later near the California-Nevada border. And this case is still unsolved. And I believe we did speak about Jody Brewer in one of our Long Island serial killer episodes.
The name rings a bell.
Yeah. Now let's jet over to South Carolina, where Heuermann's goofball brother lives, in Chester, South Carolina, where Heuermann owns property and where a first-generation Chevy Avalanche he once used was impounded pursuant to a search warrant. Local police are looking into the 2014 disappearance of 18-year-old Aaliyah Bell, who vanished days before Thanksgiving after leaving her uncle's home in Rock Hill, South Carolina, about 20 miles from Heuermann's property. Law enforcement agencies in Connecticut and Virginia have also noted possible links between Heuermann and their cold cases. So, there's possibility this guy's got bodies everywhere. It's a very strong possibility. And I can't wait to see what comes next for this case. On June 17th, 2026, Judge Matze will hand down those life sentences, and Heuermann will die in prison. So that's kind of the latest on Rex Heuermann. Who knows when we'll get another update. We might have to wait for an author to write a book on Heuermann before we get the next updates. The FBI is not going to put out information. It's all going to be secret shit.
Yeah, that's how they work.
Now, something worth mentioning. Remember Shannan Gilbert? she's still a victim, and no one really knows what happened to her.
Yeah, she's the one with the weird walking around and trying to get the cops with the neighbor, right? And that other guy that was probably a drug dealer or
his name
pimp or something.
Yeah, Joe Brewer. Yeah, she went to go to his house in
I remember her.
Oak Beach. So yeah, she's the one who literally cracked open the whole case.
Yes, she started the whole thing.
She's the
even though she was like the latest.
Hero. Yeah. Yes. Right now, her death is ruled kind of like misadventure. Drugs
really
expired and drowned. Remember?
I think we talked about that too. Yeah,
absolutely. That's who the investigators were out searching for when they stumbled across the Gilgo 4. Yes. Right. So, and the question's always been, what happened to Shannan? Who killed her? Was it Rex Heuermann? James Burke, the cop? Peter Hackett, that crazy doctor? Her driver, doctor. Right? Her driver, Michael Pack? Was it someone else? Was she even murdered? Well, in the early days after Heuermann's arrest back in July 2023, his defense attorney, Michael J. Brown, adopted this kind of familiar strategy. Point the finger somewhere else, right? Not my client. While maintaining his client's innocence, Rex's innocence, Brown repeatedly suggested to investigators that they were ignoring these more significant and stronger leads. in the Shannan Gilbert case. We don't know who those leads were. They never mentioned it. But one thing he did say often was that there was a strong possibility that the real Long Island serial killer, not his client Rex, but the real Long Island serial killer also murdered Shannan Gilbert, right? So it was really convenient argument at the time, if the killer was still out there, if Shannan was proof that the murders hadn't stopped with Heuermann, then perhaps prosecutors had the wrong guy. But then came April 8th, when Heuermann stood before a judge in a packed courtroom and confessed to 8 murders. The quote-unquote other leads Brown had mentioned evaporated instantly. The man who had once suggested Shannan Gilbert was another victim of the same killer now represented that very same killer himself. And now Brown he's abruptly stopped mentioning Shannan altogether, and he's eaten his words. So it's still unsolved what happened to Shannan.
Again, just like last time, it does seem a little bizarre that Rex is not admitted to Shannon's death if he was the one that did it.
No, he hasn't.
And that's even stranger than the other case when I mentioned this up earlier, because it's from that area. It's from the murders that he's in court for.
Yeah.
Right? Even if he did more across state lines.
She was very close.
Super close. So, it seems out of pocket for him not to admit that when he gave up that other one unprompted. And admitted to everyone else, of course.
Yeah.
So it does seem to me like my money's on that cop, but maybe somebody else did that murder, not misadventure, but it was a coincidental different murder that landed the other shark, the bigger fish, which is Heuermann.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's something interesting. So I read a few articles. Now, if you remember, Shannan, the initial autopsy given by the county was kind of like death by misadventure, right? Drugs. She freaked out. She landed in this marshy area, and she drowned, which I think is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
But then the family got the famous medical examiner, Dr. Michael Baden, from HBO, that HBO show Autopsy back in the day.
Yes, I remember this.
Very famous guy. He found evidence of strangulation, namely a damaged hyoid bone. Remember this?
Yeah.
So now I've read that Shannan's hyoid bone and her larynx were missing. This was found during the second autopsy performed by Michael Baden. And that's seen in severe strangulation. In severe strangulation cases, that hyoid bone and the larynx are damaged and crushed so badly that it looks as if they're missing. Even more evidence towards a very violent strangulation.
And Rex is a big guy.
Huge
guy, yeah. He's like a towering menace.
So I don't know. Now, the larynx part was new. That wasn't out when we first started talking about this.
Right.
Back in those other episodes. Which
is why, again, this case gives us a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, it really does. So I thought that was really interesting. I wanted to bring that up. It seems like even more evidence of strangulation. Now, so that's what I scripted based on the newest updates. There is a new documentary out. God, was it interesting. Hour and a half. In it, you talk to Victoria, the daughter. You talk to Asa, the wife.
Really?
The psychologist kind of assigned to Asa to help her through things.
Okay.
And you asked if Rex truly feels he wants to protect his family, or if he loves his family, however you said it.
Yeah.
And I said, I believe he does, and I'll talk about it. So before he admitted in open court to these 8 murders, these 8 heinous crimes, he was allowed to talk to his wife and daughter individually and admit to them face-to-face what he did and allow them to ask of him any questions they had, and they did. So in the documentary, that's exactly what happens. Asa, the wife, goes in with this psychologist, this person, I want to call her handler almost. They go in and they sit with Rex. He admits that he did this. She asks, she says she never got a why, but that all but one were in the house, in the basement.
Yeah, we talked about that he might have done it in his house and
proven
because of
some evidence they found.
Yeah. And also the sex party, the swinging thing that they were trying or doing.
Supposedly, yes. Supposedly.
Yes.
That has not been proven. That has not been talked about again, frankly. Because that would also involve his wife, right? And supposedly Asa knows nothing of any of this.
Okay.
He admitted, like, God, what else did he say? He admitted, like, when you guys would go on vacation, that's when I would do it.
Right, that's when you do it, right, on vacation.
Things like this.
Yeah.
The biggest, though, why, she said she didn't get. She didn't get a why yet. You could tell she still loves him. You could tell she still wants to have a relationship with him, no doubt. I think this is a woman who has been maybe brainwashed is too harsh.
Conditioned?
But definitely conditioned and controlled since they met, since their marriage for
I can see that with this
30 years, whatever it is.
I can see that with this guy.
Yeah, and he actually said, he's like, well, I divorced my first wife because she was crazy. I couldn't control her. Ding. I couldn't control her.
Yeah, God forbid.
Asa, he could. She came from abusive background, growing up, abusive relationships. She didn't have anything.
Was just the amount of milk toast that he needed, kind of thing?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, and she had a kid who's special needs.
Still a poor woman, though. Yeah.
So he was the one that the ogre came in, swooped in, picked her up, and gave her a life. And I think she's very dedicated to that.
Yeah, with his big, strong arms. Yeah.
Right, with his big, muscly arms.
Yeah.
I think she's very dedicated to that. She, on one hand, she feels horrible for the victims and the families.
But on the other hand, she's alone now. Or not alone, but like a lot more alone.
Right.
Yeah.
With nothing. They're not hireable. They're living in the same home. They don't have money. Well, that's debated, I guess, now with these documentaries that came out and things. There's talks of millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's too early to tell right now. Everything's happening right now.
Everything's happening right now. Yeah.
Like, I was going to ask you, like, what do you think of podcasts in 50 years from now, if podcasts are still a thing? Like, that this whole story would be one episode, probably around 20, maybe 17 pages long. You know?
I don't know. I don't think it'll ever be.
Well, because... Or at max, even max, because like everything will have been out by then. Most likely everyone's dead involved because it's been 50 years. And like you're just starting to think back on how we do stories from before our time. Or right in your time because you're so old. And and like, looking, it's like we're in the middle now. We're in the trenches. It's like the war. No post-war yet. But the post-war people, how will they look at this Rex Heuermann guy and the whole case in general? Will there have been more tacked on? Would he have died in prison by then? Most likely.
Most likely, yeah.
Right, in 50 years.
I think there'll be more tacked on.
Yeah. That's when people do retrospectives usually too, when they like, oh yeah, when that crazy serial killer from 50 years ago dies. Like, oh yeah, this is the time to release that episode or whatever.
God.
I wonder what those will look like and how much shorter they'll be.
I don't know, but I can't wait.
And what they'll skip too.
50 years.
Like we're talking about all these potential other factors that could have killed other people or helped them out or something. Will that even be a thing at all in 50 years? Like, or just like, nah, it's just Rex. Or...
I don't know.
Whatever. But I'm curious.
It's interesting to think what that sounds like.
I'm curious as to what will get dropped. Because I wonder a lot about our shows. We do cover a lot of murders, a lot of serial killers. So, how many things are we missing that we were just not privy to when it was on the news fresh?
Oh, probably tons of information.
So much stuff that they were just like bouncing around. Most likely none of that mattered anymore, but some of it must have.
Well, we know for a fact that police and investigators, they hide information. They keep information close to the chest.
Yeah,
we know that for a fact. How much in this case? I don't know. I feel there's a lot more. I really do.
Yeah.
And it just might take fucking 50 years to find out, which makes me crazy because I'm so invested in this story.
Yeah, you're not making it that far.
But no, I'll be surprised if I make it to 60.
Shut up. Be fine.
So the wife, definitely haunted. You can see the daughter too. They look haunted and
I bet.
Completely understandable. Asa and the daughter and the son, although you don't hear from the son at all.
Not surprised.
It's like they don't know that person. He kept it so separate. He kept the serial killer so compartmentalized. They literally don't know what that person is, who that is, what they look like. They only know the father and the husband. So it's such a weird dynamic. Now the daughter, Victoria, who we talked about, we made kind of a big fuss about the daughter and drawings she's made, statements she's made.
Yeah.
Did she see things in that basement? Did she help? I don't think so. I I just think she's kind of an oddball. She's an odd cat. When the camera catches
She's the
her.
Luna Lovegood of Heuermann's.
From Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Very good, yeah. When the camera first catches her in the house, she's downstairs where this all happened with Sage. And she's saging the basement. And the documentary person is like, what are you doing?
Remember, documentaries are all staged too, okay? A lot of them are.
Oh, maybe. But that's what she was doing.
They all are.
Okay.
Trust me. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm not even saying that. What's her name? Victoria?
Victoria, yeah.
Didn't want to do that at that time. She probably did. But the order which you get seen, the fact that it's the first one is the documentary's decision. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe she had a few speaking moments, but then...
Yeah, I'm saying it's all staged to look exactly in the right order that you want them. They want you to look at.
But I could also see her being that kind of person, that kind of spiritual...
that makes sense with this kind of behavior. Like you tend to really go on 180 and from what you grew up with, totally, or have seen so far. But I don't think I'm convinced about. That means that Rex cares about his family. I don't think he cares. I think he thinks he cares. I don't think he gives a shit. I think he cares about controlling people. I mean, being able to control a person. And we're stipulating at this point as to how much control he had over Asia. Her name? What's her name? The what?
Asa.
Asa.
Or some people say Asa.
Asa. Is that, he just misses the control. He doesn't care about her. I don't think that means that he cares about her.
He might not have the capability, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't think, based on his courtroom, based on everything.
Yeah, and that too, like during the courtroom scenes that you can look at it on YouTube now, when he's announcing, confessing.
Yeah, confessing.
It's almost like he's got a fucking smirk on the entire time.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
I think he gives a shit. Oh, thank you.
But there's more. There's more with this documentary.
All right.
So you got the daughter. She's saging the basement where all this happened. She goes in, speaks to her father. You get a little insight into what that conversation looked like. And it was much the same as the questions the wife asked. You know, she didn't get a why, but he confessed. And then he was allowed to confess publicly. At the very end of the doc, Asa is in the basement. The basement's now been remodeled, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a creepy-looking dungeon kind of place anymore. And she moved her bedroom into the kill room. She now fucking sleeps in the kill room, in the dismemberment room.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And her thing is like, well, I want to make it a positive space.
I was going to say that.
It's almost like communing with the dead there.
If you had asked me, like, why do you think? I would have said that's probably what she thinks.
Could you do it?
Could I? Yeah, I could.
You could move your bedroom down there?
Yeah.
Where 7 women's lives were snuffed and dismembered, and not all 7 were dismembered.
I didn't do it. There's no video of it.
Oh, no, dude. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Not in a million years.
Yeah, I could do it. But would I prefer it? No. I mean, if there's other options, I would.
There's always been out there. She always slept upstairs.
No, I'm saying, like, I could do it if I have to, but no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to.
She did.
In general, I don't like living in a basement. I know your son loves it here, but like...
Period.
like, I just don't like basements.
Yeah.
Necessarily. I grew up in a basement. That's probably why, because I grew up living in a basement.
Oh, that's right.
My parents' house. But like...
I thought that was mad bizarre.
That's just me.
Very creepy. Yeah. Very strange. A lot of people are going to look at that the complete wrong way.
Oh, yeah, because we're a society that demands a lot of things that are stupid. But like... but you can't argue with a person's ability, you know, what they are feeling. It's just a very strange thing that you haven't gone through, and you don't know how you'll react. But if you know what I'm saying, there's just no way to. I don't falter for that.
Wow,
it's weird, yes, but it's normal behavior. It's human behavior, it's a human condition.
Crazy,
you know. You definitely should still keep seeing a therapist. 100%. Everyone should be doing that.
They need it bad.
Yes.
They need it bad.
Everyone needs that for sure. They should continue doing that, and then hopefully the rest falls okay.
Yeah, so I mean that's the latest and greatest, and I think that's the last we're going to hear, besides the sentencing.
Right.
Until I think some author in some distant time in the future gets a book together. The unauthorized biography of Rex Heuermann, Long Island. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. In 47 years, when Rex dies in prison, and then a big expose comes out, we'll talk about it then.
That's right.
Yeah.
God willing. I was going to say one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Something. Oh, and I think also him choosing to plead guilty, eliminate the trial in court. I also think that's a way for him to to hold leverage in this whole thing because he knows people are waiting on bated breath for the latest and greatest details, and now they're not going to get it. And I think he loves it.
Okay, kind of like negging or something. Or
what do you mean?
I mean, like a fuck you, right? Like a fucking with people. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So I think it's a little protect the family. I think it's a little bit to say fuck you to the public, to remain control. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's it. And if we have something else,
I just don't want to think about this guy again.
We will update you, but we wanted to get this out. So, Oscar, take us home.
Yes. I was trying to get you to do it.
I just gotta commit. I do. I like the cracking idea. I like nautical themed tattoos. I think that's what I want to do.
He had an instantly good idea that I never would have thought of without a professional. Because I told him about the cracking and all this, and he was like, his first thought was like, okay, first problem is that the hip is like a dividing line that's hard to bypass with one piece.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess it's very difficult with certain things, especially if it's like one. In this case, one creature, right, with several tentacles, right? And he's like, but one thing we could do is that we can make the hip like the water line that the thing's coming out of.
Ooh.
Like that could bypass that look. That will look like stilted or weird.
That'll hide it.
Yeah.
That'll hide the...
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, like a lot of blacks and blues, like black fading.
Yeah, I don't know if I wanted realism or not. I don't know how I want it yet. We'll discuss it. But yeah, a lot of potential there. And I would want full color. I would definitely want. For sure. I mean, you'd have to.
Yeah.
I like purples, like deep purple, light. I want to like just look.
Nice. Very good, man. I'm jelly. I want to get one.
You should get one.
I know. That's why I kind of want to do like some kind of a kraken or an octopus. I really kind of want tentacles coming down onto my hand.
That is cool. I mean, I thought of that too.
I'm afraid, like...
The hand thing? You don't work with hands anymore. I mean, I see. Like
if I go in front of people.
I mean, these day and age. I mean, I don't know how your I don't know your thing, but I can. It's hard to imagine that nowadays. You know, it should be way more accepted by now.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I would hate to screw
is there anyone that you can think of in your in not your department, but
tattoos on their hands? No, absolutely.
Or anything that shows tattoos? No. Okay.
Most of the guys, except for me and Severo, and my boss, they're all older. Older men, older women.
I was gonna say, well, that probably means even less likely, right? That they'd be cool with it. I mean, they're so old school. I want all old people to die already.
I could always try to be like hide it, but it's my right hand. Like if I'm writing,
like enough with that, Jen. Can we just can they stop being in charge for once? It's been too long.
I know
they're fucking old.
And I get away.
Go to hospice, man. What the fuck?
I hate to fuck. I can't fuck up this job.
No, I know. I'm not. But it's still a cool idea.
I think it would be.
But like, if you get a chance, if something happens or they all die off, fucking do it.
Like they're all coming down. Like some of the tentacles are.
It's really cool. I can already imagine it.
But
like having one wrapped around you. Oh, so cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
that would be cool, dude.
Because they have that. They have that ability. They do that. You know?
Imagine wrapping it. Yeah. Actually around your finger, like here. No, like. It's very rare that you see tattoos here.
Yeah.
You know? I know. And Talia, now, Katie and Talia are talking about get a matching tattoo. Like,
really? A mother-daughter tattoo?
Like, what's happening?
What's wrong with that?
It's my little girl. Like,
what's wrong with tattoos? They're not for heathens anymore, Jay. They're for everybody.
She used to be this big.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
that's my point.
Yeah. Okay, well, you can't stop.
That's my point.
You can't stop the rush of time there. But I understand that feeling, I guess. I mean, I don't really understand. I don't have no kids, but... I get where you're coming from.
Yesterday we just picked out her college classes. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Criminal stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For now.
Cool. Oh yeah. I mean, she could. Yeah, totally.
I mean, I did. I'm sure you did. Change.
Oh yeah, I wanted to minor in philosophy.
Yeah.
Fucking dumbass shit. I almost did.
I think every person I know changed.
Well, I've always wanted to do films. I wanted to have philosophy to gain perspective and stuff. And unfortunately, it led me to hate the world.
Well, that backfired.
I mean, right now it's very depressing times. I've been recommending Camus to people. Camus will help you.
What is that?
shift perspective. He's really good when it comes to bad times.
Is it a person?
Camus is a philosopher.
Oh.
French, I think. Pretty sure.
Like Engine de Poitrine? You didn't like it, huh?
No, it wasn't
Really?
it wasn't my thing.
Really?
But I can
for
see
sure.
the addiction. I can see how it would gravitate you like a moth to a flame. I do think it's gonna spell your doom. The more you watch it.
I really thought.
I get, but it's not
that,
for. It's literally meant not for everyone. It's like literally meant for like a key amount of people, like a subset of the population. You know,
I was just thinking some of the stuff you turned.
it's like key lime pie or something. Yeah. I also like it, but I was trying to think of fine pumpkin pie. I hate pumpkin.
Like Nightwish or like this, just the weird music I've heard you listen to.
Yeah, I love Nightwish. You're right. Nightwish is still my number one band, probably.
This
but
would be
like you're right, but they're not similar. They're just both niche.
Yeah,
but a different niche.
Like where like experimental or something. You know, that's. But anyway,
yeah,
I'm totally into it. Katie's into it.
I can see.
You know, it's just so.
I'm gonna expect
different.
it every time I come over. That fucking band with the polka dots everywhere and shit.
It's wild. It's so wild.
Yeah,
it's a lot of people are really into it because they're saying it's like a huge, like fuck you to AI and AI slop and like this is purely human. This will always be human. I mean, it won't be AI.
This could be
this is creativity.
I mean, they could be. I wonder if 500 years from now they'll write this time period as a sort of a whatever renaissance there is, that they would be like a stepping stone in that. Like they helped, you know, because be there at the right time at the right place, right in history. You could make it, right? Maybe that's them and AI. Right?
I don't know because I that's how I started talking to Joe because I forwarded it to him. I'm like, dude, you got to check this out. And he's like, oh yeah, I heard of this stuff. He's like, dude, because it's called monotonal math rock. Is what it's called, monotonal math rock. And he's like, dude, that shit's been around forever. I don't know why it's getting big all of a sudden. He's like, Tool, A Perfect Circle, like all these bands. He's like, so apparently this type of music has been around before.
Oh, I could have told you that. Yeah, there's been. Yeah, I'm not saying every sound is, been copy pasted throughout history. We can make new sound, but like this type of music, 100%. I'm pretty sure I have heard of it here and there randomly.
Monotonal math rock.
Yeah,
never heard.
As a matter of fact, you know what first got me into it was an episode of House. Remember that show?
Yeah.
There's an episode. I don't know why I remember this so vividly. Whatever. Shut up. Hold on. Don't shut up. There's an episode where Jeremy Renner, when he was younger and before Avengers, he was a guest star, and he was a rocker, like a punk rocker, and he, every cold open of every episode is with the victim or whatever, and they fall ill or whatever, and he's in the bank, whatever, and it shows throughout the episode like House listening to his music, and they show some of that music in the episode,
really,
and it makes no sense. It's atonal nonsense. It sounds like a nightmare, right? It sounds insane. And then House like at first hates it, and he's listening to it like a few episode scenes later, like, this is crazy. There isn't a single repetitive chord in here. He has unique chords every step of the way in this song. How does he do that? Like he becomes like enamored by the mathematical genius of his.
And it was Renner.
And that's just a shitty show that someone wrote. It wasn't like. Yeah. And
this was Jeremy Renner playing the person.
Yeah,
so
playing the rocker.
So that's weird that it was monotonal stuff.
I don't know if that's what he called it, but he said something weird like that. Yeah.
The other strange part is that the other day, Katie, last weekend or the weekend before, we went out and we were driving home. She's like, oh, I want you to hear something. I was listening to like whatever on Spotify. She's like, I want you to hear something. I'm like, oh, fuck. Jeremy Renner. He's a singer. He has a band. And she let me listen to House of the Rising Sun.
I didn't know that.
I hated it, of course.
I mean, you can't beat the Animals, man.
Right.
I don't know if they're the original, but they're the best.
I think they are. I'm pretty sure they are.
I'm pretty sure.
But he's got a whole bunch of... He's got a band. But it's like Southern rock kind of like...
Yeah, very few actors can transition.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It's easier for a music artist to transition to film than it is for a... Yeah.
I can see that. The other person I was surprised too was... and she was fucking awful too. Oh, God. Who was...
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
She's like late 90s, or even maybe early mid-2000s. Who was it? It's on the tip of my tongue, man, and she was awful.
Yeah.
She should have just stuck to being an actress. But anyway, that reminds
me. Zooey
me.
Deschanel is one of my favorite examples because
she sang?
She started off that way.
Oh, really?
Her band is great. I mean, it's probably not your flavor. It's very like saccharine, kind of sympathetic, kind of love story stuff. But I listened to the first 3 albums. I haven't caught up to anything new. Shit, they did a Christmas album. It's called Her and Him, or She and Him, something like that. It's called like that because there's only 2 people in the band. Just her, and then she started that way, and she blew it up big, and everyone sees her only as an actress, but she started as a singer.
No idea. That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure she did start it that way. And I listened to her. Yeah, it's really, really. I mean, she has a melancholic tune, nice, not like crazy, but like it's good. Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that the one that everyone says is a huge bitch? Is that Zooey Deschanel?
I mean, I think everyone in Hollywood
Dallas.
is a huge fucking bitch.
I'm thinking Bryce Dallas Howard. I heard she's.
I heard about that about her.
I haven't heard anything about.
I don't know
Zoe.
about Zoe though.
That's my bad.
She's been out of the limelight too lately, so maybe.
Yeah, I don't think. I think it was the other one, but.
Well, Bryce Dallas Howard is it's like the trailer park version of Jessica Chastain. She is. I'm sorry. She is, and I'm not sorry.
Welcome to the 176th episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast.
So, you know, paranormal.
I'm shocked. First time.
No, it was a joke. I did that as a joke. I did that as a joke. I was going to
say, first time in 10 years you didn't have a
thing. No, that was...
adjective, a soliloquy.
It was a joke. That was the thing. Stuttering. It's a choice.
That is Oscar Spector, producer extraordinaire. I'm Jason Knight, the host of the show.
That's right.
And we have a good one for you tonight. I'm all thrown off my shit.
Dude, I don't know how that... I guess I threw you off.
Good. Dude, so you've had some interesting things happening, Oscar, since the last time we recorded. My computer shut off. I'm trying to...
You're trying to vamp until it comes back on.
We should just start over. No. How have you been, man, since our last episode? Bonebreaker. That was I got to be careful not to hit the table.
Yeah, you did.
Did that just spike? We haven't even started. I poured. I haven't even sipped yet. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm back. Should we start over?
Yeah, actually, for reals, yes.